Everyone, 30.6 here, and welcome back to another episode of the American Campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Last video went a lot longer than I was planning it to, but again, we were waiting on some tech to be done and to refit the fleet. I apologize for not being a Friday episode for October the 25th, just wanted to get some gaming done with some friends of mine I hadn't had a chance to play a lot with recently. So, we're going to check our politics screen, and I do not like all this red down here. Also, yesterday or the day before, they updated the mod. Or, not the mod, they updated the base game. So, there's going to be some wonky stuff. Apparently, minor nations are going to be a lot more aggressive. So, we will have to keep an eye out for that. I am not happy about the way our relations look across the board. So, for example, we have minus 83 with Japan, and the only allies we have are Italy, who is doing okay, and the Soviet Union, who is, well, not doing okay. They do have a lot of naval prestige, though, but they are almost completely out of capital ships. They are also at war with Germany and Austria-Hungary, and Italy is at war with Spain. So, once again, we're going to try to smooth over relations with everybody. Now, okay, so we did rebuild the Macomb class, so we are going to be building. So what I did is I went ahead and I set aside a bunch of tonnage, specifically so we can get 30 Macomb class destroyers. And we're going to split them up between certain fleets. So we're going to go to status here. So Samoa and Delaware are almost done. So Macomb and a squadron of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So you guys are going straight to Philadelphia. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. San Francisco. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You guys need to go to... where is it? Southern China... right? It's a Southern China port. Am I missing something here? Southeastern Seaboard, Eastern Aleutians, Western United States, Eastern Samoa, Marshall Islands, Vanuatu, Tonga, Gulf Coast, Guantanamo, Panama, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Southern China. Where the heck is the China squadron? Okay, can I not send those ships to Xiamen? Oh, you're over tonnage, that's why. Alright. We'll send the cruiser force to Shinshu, and we'll put the destroyers in Xiamen if we're able to. There we go. Alright. So, oop. I think I bumped my power off real quick. Yep, I did. I tripped the surge protector. It's underneath my desk. Alright. So, something I did note as I was looking through just the hull designs. Oh, Okay, really? Still can't get a new battlecruiser, apparently. Uh, Battleship hulls? We are stuck with that experimental dreadnought hull for a while, which sucks. So what I'm going to focus on is as we can build them bigger, we're going to build different. We're going to leave the standard class because, truthfully, the Nebraskas, the Pennsylvanias, Nebraskas and Pennsylvanias are essentially the same vessel. Standard class battleships, 14-inch guns, 14-inch triples, 5-inch secondaries. They're essentially the same ship. So, now if I remember correctly, we did not commission the construction of... Yes, so we're going to do 6. And we're going to immediately make sure that they're not being double named. So type Mississippi, Arkansas, New Mexico, Alabama, Maryland. Alright, that's fine. So we will have, I'm making a note here, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, One, two, three, four, five, six. Alright, so that is now 16 battleships plus 6 more. What is that, 24 battleships? So that's 24. We're almost halfway done with states, but again, we just don't have the hulls I'd like. And the modern battleship hulls are a long time away. As for research, now that we have those ships being constructed, this new cruiser we've already looked at. I'm going to leave this on here because I would like a new cruiser design, and I'm getting very frustrated that I can't have a new light cruiser. We're also getting that the modern heavy cruiser 2 is a hull that we are going to completely ignore because it's that weird destroyer design where it's got this little thing in the middle where it's like you have the hull starting here, right? And then it drops down for a break here, and then here on the ship, and then it's flush deck all the way. It's just an annoying hull. I can't balance it out, and it frustrates me. So we're just going to completely ignore it. Is this just balanced draft boilers? Thank God. Alright, special machinery, electric batteries 1. Okay. Small guns, 7-inch Mark 3s. Not concerned about submarines, although we are going to very soon commission a class of submarines. I've just been putting it off. And we needed the tonnage for other things. Now, while I'm sitting here, where did I put my water bottle? It's very important to stay hydrated, folks. Oh dear. Alright, while this is loading, I'm going to be right back. I gotta go find my water bottle. I already don't like that on my screen. From where my desk sits, in reference to my front door, I could already see that there was a little thing up here for going to war. I'm not going to war right now. I don't care what the government says right now. We just can't, okay? We need to get this foreign office figured out. So, if there is like a comment thing that you can post, I want an improvement that says you should be able to, like, if they keep failing, you should be able to advocate for the removal of the diplomat and say, hey, look, I want a direct meeting with my counterpart. So, again, no scrap campaign, so our tonnage may be a lot, but we are just bleeding money in, yeah, fleet maintenance. Fleet maintenance is a lot gone. Good news is we're getting off of semi-oil, so that's going to help everybody out. Now, if I remember correctly, the rest of the Charlestons should be ready to be refit. And then we're just going to make sure that the rest of the ships are refit. We don't want... Okay. Yeah, we're just going to get the whole fleet refit, and then we're going to spot where those... Lake Placids are getting a new upgrade. I'm very happy about that. Those double guns are going to help them a lot. Alright, so we already know the Delaware is going to San Francisco. Samoa is going, I think, to Portland. So, I think Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Alabama are going to form a squadron. Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Alabama. You guys are going to New York. New Mexico? How much space does San Fran have left? Not much. So we're just gonna temporarily move these guys to San Diego. So also, something I'm looking at, waiting on in the research tree, I do want to do another Idaho-style design where they're a lighter battleship, but we're not going to name them after states. We're going to name them after something different. I'm thinking maybe generals. It's like we'll have the General Grant. We'll have like, not General Grant. We'll have like General McClellan, General Pershing. There'll be like a generals class, like famous U.S. generals, and then we'll go back and name a class of battle cruisers, I think, after presidents and famous battles. I am waiting on this new cruiser design. I want the modern battle cruiser, or the battle cruiser 4. If there is a battle cruiser 4 hull, I want that one so I can design the Lexingtons once we get 16. I think we have 16 Mark 1s. Yeah, I'd like 16 Mark 2s at minimum, so I can get a Lexington class pushed out. But then again, it's not the top of the priority, so I'm not as concerned about it. I'm going to take that off of that and instead... small guns. For now. We're still making plenty of money. Again, that last month we were just looking at a deficit because we were refitting a bunch of ships. We just had to pay the upfront cost. And the advantage to staying out of war is we're able to up our tech so much, and I think that was one of our main advantages against China in the last wars, because we had better rangefinders, we had better guns, we had better trained crews, definitely. That's what helped us. So I think I'm going to not improve relations anymore with the French. Now, I discussed this idea in the past couple of episodes. It would be kind of a natural... Guys, we're trying to be friends here. So, for example, it's kind of natural. They have a base in our backyard. Port-au-Prince is 33,000 tons. This one's 27,000 tons. It's not the best. But we could solidify the Caribbean along with the British, kind of our own domain. But the main thing I'm looking at is Indochina, or what we would call Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and of course the Quang Shouwan provinces here in Fort Bayard. Fort Bayard, that's 154,000 tons. If we could take Fort Bayard, that gives us a whole new 150,000 ton dockyard that we can just shove out. Excuse me for 1 second. Well, I just realized I was muted for the past 3 to 5 minutes. I apologize. Um, what I was talking about, I'm just going to sum up. I was talking about maybe having a problem with bar. So you'll see this in the recording. When I'm circling around bar, I'm talking about our foreign ports that don't exactly have a big garrison. And we could use something to probably just kind of be there, just to help. So let's say we were to look at the Scout Cruiser 2. I get a decent ship. We don't need it to be super fast. We need maybe, let's say 28 knots. It doesn't have to be fast. And again, this is just kind of a preliminary design. We gave it an okay rear tower. And we designed this thing for kind of just one purpose. I think we'll stick with, I think 7-inch guns could work. We designed this ship with kind of one purpose. Is it small enough where it can fit in foreign ports, but also big enough with big enough guns, hence the 7-inchers, to just kind of handle anything that comes at it. So the goal for these ships would be kind of a delaying action, or like coastal patrol. So they would just kind of sit in a foreign port like Bar. They'd wait there if we end up going to war with Austria-Hungary, or let's say a Spanish squadron is in the area. like let's say we were to go with war with Austria-Hungary again, right? They declare war on us. Wah wah wah. We got to go to war. We could have a class of ships that could go out and defend the port to, one, make sure they just don't instantly take it, and two, serve as kind of a delaying action to make sure that they can't just waltz right in, take out all of our naval assets in the area, and then just really start hurting us for war score. Or rather, in this case, it's victory points. I call it war score because I played a lot of Hearts of Iron 4. So, looking at this, let's just kind of think about a design here. So 7-inch duels, maybe 5 7-inch duels. We'd give her maximum depth charges. We'd give them mines. So like mine layer, depth charges, best radio, best acoustics we can get, best rangefinder. You know, just stuff to help it out. And again, this ship isn't designed to go combat large formations. This is essentially just to hold the port and serve as kind of an interdiction ship, right? So 28 knots is a respectable speed. It's not lightning fast, it's not setting records, but it would give us an asset to use in the area. And I think that's why we should maybe look at this once the balanced boilers are done, and I want a couple more techs of maybe some range improvements. I definitely want the depth charge 3, that's what I was looking at. Depth charge 3, maybe a couple more ASW stuff, but I think this kind of design, right? We forego the 6s, because this thing's probably going to be battling heavy cruisers, right? We'll make them like 7-inch 55s, right? We'll give them semi-auto reloading. These things will reload, you know, no time flat, right? So let's say if we did this, reload time, you know, roughly 3 rounds a minute, right? So maybe we just knock them to 7-inch 50s. They can get 3 rounds a minute, you know, full broadside. We don't worry about torpedo launchers, right? Maybe we put like couple of 3-inch torpedo launchers around here. We just slap them with secondaries, put a couple of casemates on if we can fit them, and we design these things to just sit in a port and defend. And I think that'd be interesting because then we could have these ships go out and kind of set a first strike kind of stuff, because these guys will generate strike missions. They'll lay mines, our ports will be defended, and in case something like what we had to deal with during the war with China, when their fleet came after the Philippines, we had to ship, literally, our entire force down to the Philippines in order to defend it, because we just didn't have a lot of stuff in the area besides the Manila Squadron. These guys would be perfect to have in ports like Colon, or, you know, Christian said, or Pearl Harbor, you know, here in the Philippines, or down here. These smaller ports that could maybe support a light cruiser, and maybe we took a destroyer design and just kind of slapped it down and essentially made it a glorified torpedo boat with essentially just mines, a single torpedo launcher, and a small gun, and we just had them guard these foreign ports. And I think that would be really interesting. I think it would also be good because then we're not concerned about, oh, the squadron is repairing in Xiamen and Hsinchu. We don't have a squadron that can respond. We would have ships in the area that we could say, alright, here's what we need. We want mine layers off of Saigon and Camaran Bay. We want light cruisers interdicting their transports coming from the mainland. You know, all this sorts of stuff. And I believe next war, if we end up going to war with China again, I want Tsingtao. That's non-negotiable, and I think we'll try it for Eastern China. And we'll just leave them with Northeast China as their only remaining port, but that might be too much. Because we don't want the nation to collapse, because then we lose that. So that's a problem I had in my British campaign that I've been playing on the side, just to practice. Austria-Hungary collapsed. They ran out of ports. They could have come back, but it was just gone. So, looks like Greece is getting up to some shenanigans. Who's the Soviet Union's trying to invade what? Bulgaria? So I also think we can invade minor allies now. Or maybe, I'm not sure. So let's look at the politics screen. And let's continue. I don't think this is going to be a long episode. I'll post this one on Saturday. Give you guys something to watch before all the big games. If you're here in the US, we have a bunch of big games this weekend for college football. My team isn't playing, so I get a pass. But I think it'll be good, good something to watch in the background while you're eating lunch. You're like, these games I already know who's going to win, or I don't care about these teams. It gives you something to watch. Or maybe on Sunday, when you're eating dinner, or maybe in between games or at halftime. Okay. Excuse me. Research. Don't know why I didn't pop a priority on that, but we're going to do that. We know what this is. I believe this is, turbo electric drive. This is balanced boilers. Small guns, I'm going to leave that off. I'm going to leave that. Torpedo boat destroyer is obsolete. The only thing we have is a destroyer 3, and I don't really... If we get destroyer 4, that'll change things, because then we can look at the destroyer 3 design and just say, okay, we're going to give it a 2-inch gun and a torpedo launcher, and just slap the deck full of mines and say, here you go. We're just going to keep that there. So we'll leave it as it is. And we'll just go forward. Now, once the refits are finished, I think I might... we have 41 billion naval funds. Now, again, this is on normal difficulty. This would not be this way in legendary or hard difficulty. I just wanted to dip my feet into maybe doing this as a series, and it seems to be doing well. In total, this is the first episode 0, when we designed the fleet originally, holds the record for views on the channel. And I want to thank you all for that. So if you do like the videos, I know this is going to sound like the generic YouTuber, but please like, subscribe, share, comment. I read all my comments. I read all of them. So, you guys make a comment, you guys want to see something new, or think you have a design, or maybe you guys say, hey, why don't you go... What do you think about going to war against Spain and maybe, getting a port there to go to war in Europe more efficiently? Okay, we'll think about it. If you guys have suggestions for games you might want to see, I would love to hear your thoughts. So, all that kind of good stuff. So, looks like Japan just scrapped a bunch of ships. I can't wait till we get to stuff like the Baltimore class designs. That's going to be fun. I believe we already have a ship named Baltimore, but hopefully we've got Bremerton. So isn't it? No. Guys, we are refitting the entire fleet. You want Columbia? That's fine. You want a Pennsylvania? 71%? No. We're not getting that for 71% profit. Alright. Fleet. Status. No. Where is my cheat sheet for how many destroyers Columbia has bought? Columbia is up, at least on my count. I think I may be wrong. They're up to 18 destroyers. Denmark's sitting at 14 destroyers and 4 heavy cruisers. I'm not sure how many ships I've sent to Columbia, but they do seem to be liking the designs. And I'm okay with selling off a couple of Macombs. We have the spare tonnage now. We're not at war. I'm not worried about new designs coming in, so that's fine. And of course the Pennsylvanias are going to be 20 months out, so we have plenty of time. Check the research tab real quick. Nothing interesting. Yeah, nothing new to look at. I think now I'm going to build 50 ocean-going submarines. For now. Just because I want to have something, and I'm going to split them. So S1 through S25 Norfolk. And you all 26 through 50 Seattle. And those would be our 2 submarine bases. These guys, I'm imagining we're going to send them out. So, like, let's say if we do end up to war with France, I'm just going to put a bunch of submarines out over their African colonies and just spread them across the North Atlantic and Pacific in a giant line as trade interdiction. We are almost at an alliance with Britain, and I would like that because this would prevent us having to fight the British Navy. So, we do out-ton them. Just ton for ton, we outdo it. But it's the British Navy, and I would prefer they also have 101 billion in reserve. Notice we only have 41. They can do deficit spending in a war far longer than we can, and I would not like to piss them off. Excuse me. Alright. So, if you guys do notice that my personal volume seems a little bit higher, I adjusted my my mic input volume just a little bit. Excuse me. Hold on. Love you, Dad. See you later. What time do we have to leave? Okay. I'll finish up my... Like I said in the post I made on the 25th of October, I have a very busy week. You want to do this, France? You must... Fine. You guys made me upset, and now I gotta deal with you. No, we need all tonnage to the war effort. First thing we're doing. Get your ships here, now. That's it. They made us mad, and now we gotta handle this. San Francisco, take your entire fleet. You guys are going to Vietnam. Let's go. Get your fleet here as soon as possible. Alright. We'll send the cruisers first. Leave the battle cruisers as a third squadron. I'm actually going to change where I want these guys to move. I want you guys on this side of the port. So this is what I was concerned about. And now we gotta go to war We're not going to have a lot of tonnage over there for the time being, except for the destroyers, which will show up soon. Next up, we have 2 fleets left. You guys, immediately head for the Caribbean. Alright. Texas and Virginia. Go here. How's the New York fleet? Battle cruisers. Excellent. These guys are the battle cruisers. Cayenne, please. As soon as the submarines are done in Norfolk, we're just going to send them in a giant line across the Atlantic and Pacific. They made me mad, and now we got to deal with this. Alright, so I don't know how much you guys heard that, but again, sorry if that audio picked up. Looks like they got a cruiser in the area, but we are now angry, and they're just gonna have to deal with it. Now, if I remember correctly, all refits are finished. Very good. Who's not at sea? Montana, Georgia, and Oregon. Oh, yes, okay. I forgot I had a fleet in Wilmington. All right. Okay. You guys? I don't know. Join the battle cruisers, I guess. All right. Next turn. It says we need 110,000 tons, but hopefully the army takes the cue. Destroyers will be coming in about 5 months, 5 to 6 months. We'll get them out, and we'll just immediately swarm the fleets with them. We have plenty of money. We're very advanced tech. I think they're just advanced, but I think we're probably gonna have better guns. We're probably gonna have better rangefinders. Our crews in the Pacific are the best trained in the fleet, so there should be no problem with any ship the French send to the Pacific is gonna be sunk. We're not going to war with Spain. Excuse me. Well, it looks like we won't be able to do the battle today, as I'm being called away to take care of some stuff. But hopefully you guys enjoy the shorter episode. And next week, well, for me, next week, we're just going to go ahead and fight this battle real quick. And next week, we will begin the full war against the French. Looks like the army did not take the hint. It is now going against Tonkin. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. See you next episode.